Bro, so you know how fucking Aaron Rodgers owns Chicago, but right?
Yeah,
so
like, he owns the whole city.
The entire city. What's it called? He's about to join OTF, motherfucking. But this man, AJ Hawk was talking about how big the rivalry between the Packers and the Bears were, and they was just showing a highlight reel of just hits of them boys from back in the day, just boom, boom. And the thing about it was they showed it on both sides, so it was like you would see a Packers quarterback just get kicked, you see a Bears, you see Brett Favre, killing
like fucking WWF out there.
I'm telling you, and they over here just talking about they'll be sitting there, they'll get them hyped, don't get me wrong, but the entire time they'll just be sitting there thinking, they said the entire time they'll be thinking like, that's a fine. Yeah, these are 6-figure fines we'll be going through. Look, you would get thrown out the league for that hit. Like, that's crazy. Like, and you can see when the Packers played the Bears, they were all aggressive. Everybody was aggressive. That's just like a more aggressive game. But it's like, wow, think about how far this shit's come. Because there was a point in time where when these two teams played, you literally just lined up the stretches. Like, it was just train wreck. It was an immovable, it was like an unstoppable force runs into an immovable object. Just, like all day.
That's what made those divisional games so close, though, right there. Like, who wants, like, even if you're the better team by a mile, who wants to run a route if you know you're just going to get hit? Like, I'm going to get fucking creamed because the other team don't like me.
Bro, imagine going for a slant and you got like the 85 Bears linebackers just looking you down. Read the fuck out the play. They watched the film. There's not that many routes back then either. So it's like they watched the film. They know exactly where you come in. They just, I couldn't do it, man. Shout out anybody that plays football, dog. That shit is real.
Yeah, I know, bro. That shit. It has came a long way. I just remember as a Jet, I don't know if you ever did this, but looking at like hardest hits in NFL and it's going on YouTube and there's be like a 20-minute montage or like some music in the background of those motherfuckers getting murdered.
I used to just go out and read highlights.
Yeah, like it's like usually Ravens are up there always. It's cleaning motherfuckers up. Just Brian, what is the other one? Not Urlacher, that's the Bears. Terrell Suggs, Ray Lewis, just laying the fucking hammers
all day for no reason, like bored.
But I mean, there was one hit like that this week. Randy Gregory's hit on Mac Jones, where he came in untouched. I mean, if you haven't seen it yet, go look at it from this week. It was a murder. I was shocked it wasn't no because it looked like he used all his weight or whatever the fuck the call is for that roughing the passer, because he cleaned him.
Bro, no cap. Shit like that be making me wonder, like, what would Derrick Henry do in like those times back then? Like, because you be seeing niggas now, like, bro, what the fuck, Derrick Henry? Like, Derrick Henry this is a safety. Like, once you get to that, like Micah Hyde did what he had to do. But imagine Derrick Henry just going one-on-one with like Night Train Lane and all them boys. Just
clean.
Just back and forth. Like, that's a dangerous area. Tackling is tackling.
Yeah, 100%.
But let's get to this episode, man.
All right, let's hop in it.
The medicines. We've been on that rock star regimen, knowing that I'm heaven sent, higher than I ever been. I got a problem with
leading me, and I don't know who say you can record this shit.
What's going on? This is Totally Blitzed Podcast. I'm Paul Pickham, Wyndham Concha, and as always, I'm joined with
that boy Lil KK, aka Kev Waters, boy, aka the Don PYE, aka the motherfucker that gotta pay bills on the first. Yeah, that motherfucker right there. And you know how we coming. We got the fresh recap. It's week 6. And that shit was litter than a motherfucker. How are you coming, Paul?
We're coming hot and wrong, apparently, on my side. But, I mean, I just can't believe we're already, like, we're talking about week 7. Like, that shit's so crazy to me to think about that. Like, NFL always goes by so fast.
God damn, what the fuck is that?
I had to pull up we had to make some major changes because apparently every episode we recorded, the Dolphins lose. So I have to make some changes around the office here, pull out some different pieces, pull out all the stops. And today we're coming with the big dick because this is going to be the big dick Sunday where we get our groove back.
Let's hope so. Cause boy.
You already know what's going on.
Boy, we gonna see. We go. Y'all did. We go. Let's start. Let's fuck it. Let's start with the Dolphins and the Jaguars.
Oh, you want to jump into the old cross the pond, the fish and chips game?
Fuck it.
Well, this is the one game. I mean, our running game is atrocious. Our highest leading rusher is Malcolm Brown for 24 yards against the Jaguars, who, like, they don't have a run defense, so that was pretty abysmal. But only positive I really have is Tua looked good. Apparently, I didn't know until the statistics came out that they allowed, like, if there were supposed to be about 5 sacks in that game. It was some crazy statistic. I don't know how they show it or whatever, but it was like he was supposed to be sacked 5 times due to that line, but he only was sacked once because of the way he moved in the pocket. It was some weird statistic about, like, he was supposed to be sacked more times than what he was, but he threw for the 330. He had that one bad interception where it was like, what the fuck are you doing? But other than that, we played a decent game. We definitely should have lost this game. The Jaguars suck. We just didn't look good. I mean, the offensive line still sucks. Still bottom of the league. Tua looked okay for first game back. And I just like the fact that him and Waddle, they seem to have a real connection, which hopefully they can continue to grow upon. But fuck, bro. This is Urban Meyer's fucking prom, homecoming, all in one. Like, this is one of the worst weeks to be a Dolphins fan, especially coming into this year.
Hey man, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I get the Falcons treatment this week because, like, usually I be thinking, like, you know what, the Dolphins still promising because, like, y'all boys fight, but like, what was his name? AJ, right? The kicker that vented like Beckham on y'all lives.
I know his last name was Wright. I'm not too sure what his first name was.
It was either Malik Wright or AJ Wright, something like that. But that boy bended it like Beckham. That second to last field goal was crazy. Like, I had never seen no field goal go skirt out, skirt back in, and then tip it out the corner. I never seen that before. I saw that and I was like, "There's no way that went in." Like, hold on, somebody. They had to replay. That was the first time I think I ever waited on a replay for a kick because I wanted to see what the fuck happened. So that was wild. And, like, you guys also didn't have a lot of players. Xavier Howard was there. So you guys didn't have a lot of people that made the trip. That's true. And, like, don't get me wrong, this is a bad loss. It's a bad loss. But it's one of those bad on paper losses. It's not really like a bad like team loss because, like, you guys know that your team is still, that O-line is recovering. They blocked for Tua's first day back. Like, and that's just the game that the Jaguars really, really wanted to win. And it felt good for them boys to win, man. But what's it called? But I will say this. If you take it back to week 1 and you see the that fumble game with the Patriots, I'll give you the same, because my dad called me. Because my dad had to call me, ask me about the Dolphins. You know, he only calls me to talk bullshit. He was like, the Dolphins will lost 5 in a row. And I was like, damn, they have lost 5 in a row.
5 in a row.
And it's like, ouch. So it's like, okay, so maybe that fumble was a little fluky, was a little fleeky, but it's not fleeky. It's because that wasn't what defines y'all. Like, defense isn't going to be what defines y'all this season. It's going to be, like, making moves, making definitely the offense stepping up at times like that. But the fourth quarters that you guys are playing so strong, like, what can you do before then to, like, keep these games a little closer so you're not coming back from 2.5 possession games? Like, but you guys have this week to redeem yourselves because y'all got a pretty fair, even matchup.
Yeah, we're finally back home. The one thing that scares me is that we didn't take a bye. So, like, all that travel on the players, I'm not too sure how, like, after losing 5 in a row, it's kind of hard to get that right foot forward. You know what I mean? Like, your momentum's dead on the team. Like, the team, some people who are, like, don't really care about the season, but they're also talking about, from, like, the Miami fan bases, I'm seeing a lot of rumors that some of our players might be on the move come trade deadline just because this season has been such a bad season. But we'll see. And we also don't have a first round pick this year. The Eagles currently have that. So it's not even like we have something to look forward to starting 1-5. Like,
hey, look at this. All I gotta say is y'all lost the Florida Bowl. Y'all gotta take the L on to the Florida Bowl this year.
yeah, we take the L on the Florida Bowl. My only hope is we don't end up with a worse record than the Jags.
Nah, it's not likely.
But what's the next game you wanted to go on to?
Hey!
I knew this is the game you really wanted to start with.
I was highly upset about
I'm going to let you introduce it, though, because I have to go get a lighter.
Hey, man, it was Monday Night Football. That shit was fucking wild. We had the motherfucking Bills going 1-1, which is really 53-53, which is really probably like 70 because they got 100 they got probably like 100 coaches and a motherfucking trainers on the sideline. So it was one legion versus the other legion, and the Bills and Titans showed out, man. Derrick Henry came through. He's a beast. He's a monster. He could tear you up for 76 yards. Shout out Micah Hyde. That boy got ran clean over, but he got the tackle, and that's what you're supposed to fucking do, because I don't know what in the hell would you do if you're the safety on the last line and you see Derrick Henry coming at you at 21 miles per hour. That's worse than a fucking car, in my opinion. But that was a great game. The Titans did what they had to do. They just kept fighting. They never gave up. They kept doing what they had to do. And Derrick Henry is a grown-ass motherfucking man. And shout out to my dog Julio for that catch. And like, I realized I picked the Bills because I thought the Bills had were the best team in the league behind the Ravens that week. But nah, the Titans did what they had to do. And that Julio Jones catch was fucking insane.
No, that was arguably one of his best catches of his career with that. Not even off of pure skill, just like that's a weird predicament to get. Like that same with that crazy helmet catch and the Giants receiver. It has to do with skill. That's just all like chance and having to be in the right place. That
boy said crazy. Oh, the biggest thing was the O-line came in this game giving up 20 sacks. After this game, the O-line came up giving 20 sacks. They gave up no sacks to probably one of the best pass rushers in the league right now. So that's fucking insane. I shout out. That was one thing I said, like, there's no way that the O-line is going to keep up with the Bills. It's going to stop the Bills. And Ryan Tannehill's going to be able to get focused, even though he got both his receivers back. But no, this was a great game. And that stop on 4th and 1, what do you think about that?
I'm probably going for it only because, like, it's a game, like, you're able to lose this game, in my opinion, as the Bills. Like, if you lose this game, you're probably still sitting at the top of your division coming into the year. But if you win this game, you're really, like, you're solidifying that first place spot. And if you, in the fourth quarter, the Bills didn't put up no points at all in the fourth quarter, whereas the Titans 10-0, like a 10-0 run. So if you're looking at it at that aspect, you're like, okay, this Titans offense has been kind of working here. We haven't got anything on the board. Are we really going to try to go to overtime when our offense hasn't been clicking? So I understand it. And plus, I believe, like, they could have still got the first down, right? They're on like the 2 or whatever. So if they would have, even if they got stopped on the touchdown, they could have still got the first down or some shit.
4th and 1.
And another thing was, I think he slipped. Like, the more I look at it, the more it looks like he kind of, maybe not slip is the best word, but I just don't know. It didn't look like correct. It just looked real weird when he was trying to go for it, as if it was just no chance at all. But I would go for it. Just like I said, you haven't, and then Tannehill, I mean, Derrick Henry is the one who's killing you in the red zone and that big monster run. But Tannehill only had like 200 yards. 18 of 29, no touchdowns, threw a pick. So if you're gonna go for it right there, you're only giving them not much time on the clock, and you're already been kind of keeping Tannehill at bay. So that's the only reason why I probably would have went for it right there. You have nothing to really lose. You're still gonna win division most likely. But
I think that was a good game. That was a great game. I don't know about going. That's a tough one just because of how stagnant the offense was in the fourth quarter. But like, I don't. that's a wishy-washy. I think there's no wrong answer to that one. It's more like there's a wrong result. Like if they went for it, if they didn't go for it, kick the field goal and lost in OT, I don't know, people would have said go for it, but people would have been like, dang, what happened to the Bills, to the mighty, mighty Bills? And then if they went for it and got it, everybody would have been like, damn, the Bills is the stick. Like the Bills did that. Like they beat the Titans. They beat the Titans, even though Derrick Henry went fucking insane, 3 touchdowns. But that's raw. That's what I gotta respect it. That was a great game, and I think the NFL's been killing it on these primetime games, like killing it consistently.
Yeah, I saw the little statistics. I think 3 primetime games have gone to overtime, and everything else is within a 1 touchdown. Mostly a 3-point game, but like one was like a 6-point game. So every primetime game has really just been a heater this year.
Definitely. But I'm gonna tell you the exact reason why the Titans won though. It's because I accidentally wore this shirt, because I definitely didn't mean to. I was wearing this shirt on Sunday just because it's bye week, and I guess I'm a good luck charm because I wore it and I fell asleep. Next thing you know, I seen they won.
Oh, but one thing to be also look out is the Titans lineman that's out. Liane, yeah, like he's a big piece of that offense. So if he's not gonna be able to play, like they say sometimes, your running back's only as good as his blockers.
I don't know. That's kind of tough. Your running back might be stronger than some of his blockers.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
That's scary.
Let's see. We want to start from the beginning of Sunday or towards the end of Sunday?
Or whatever.
We can start at the beginning just because there's a couple of blowouts I want to get out of the way. The first one being we had the Chargers going to the Ravens. And everyone saw the Ravens took care of business. 30-6.
Hang on. Hey, shout out Marlon Humphrey. That boy got the back-to-back stops, one on 3rd down and the other one on 4th down. But that defense was turned all the way up. And like Tony Dungy and them boys on Sunday Night Football, they keep making the best point ever. It really doesn't matter who you put back there, just because of how great a threat they are and how strategic John Harbaugh is. It's like how great a threat Lamar is. It's like there's literally nothing that people can really do right now. This is supposed to be there that everybody said they haven't figured out. But like, if you check the wins and losses, man, there's a couple of teams that look figured out, and none of them are in Baltimore right now. So like, this was a great ass game. Nobody expected Justin Herbert to get shut out like he did. Well, not shut out, but just shut out. Flatline. That's a good word for it. But that defense was lit. That defense was turned. They came ready to play. Lamar's looking like the MVP. Like, there's not much you can say about the Ravens. It's like seeing the playoffs at this point.
Yeah, no, where the Ravens looked like a fucking college team out there, the way they were running like a triple option, RPOs. They had 3 backs in the field on almost every carry. I think Le'Veon Bell, Devontae Freeman, and Levante Murray all had 8+ carries. Lamar had 8+ carries. It was. I mean, I haven't seen a run scheme like that in a long time. Of just like we're gonna go down their throat. And the Chargers had no offensive rhythm. Their run game kept getting stuffed. Eckler ended the game with like 7 yards or some shit on like 5 carries. The Ravens, like you said, that defense, they brought the blitz, and Herbert just couldn't make any accurate passes. He really looked phased on that when those blitzes were coming. And their only score, like it really could have really been a 34-0 game because their only score came from it was a good interception from Kevin White, who did have 2 on the day. So like he played a good game on himself, but he got the interception within the 30-yard line, which is set up for an easy touchdown for the Chargers. But if they would have got that big stop right there to within just go 30 yards and scored it, they really could have had a really bad day. And it would have been ugly. I mean, like, I saw someone say that the Chargers got unplugged, and I was like, damn, bro. Like, that sounds about right, because that is not the Chargers team I thought it was going to be. And another side note is like Keenan Allen's not producing like Keenan Allen was really supposed. I know Mike Williams is taking over right now, but like I don't think he's had a 100-yard game yet. I don't think he's even had like an 80 or 90-yard game yet. It's been a whole bunch of like 5 or 6 catches for like 40 yards, 50 yards. So I'll just be on the wait for that. Like this, maybe one next game, Keenan Allen's gonna have his breakout game, but it wasn't this game because that Ravens defense definitely came to play.
Nah, no cap, man. Shout out them boys. Them boys was lit, turned up. I enjoyed the game. I enjoyed every second of it. Maybe it's because I picked the Ravens.
It was gonna go 3 blowouts in a row. We had Cincinnati taking care of business in Detroit, 34-11. I'm gonna stop picking the Lions. This is my last time going with them. I thought this was the death blow to me. Like everything else was kind of like, okay, we suck, we're going, but this is the game where they look flat all around. They didn't seem like they came to play. I mean, they didn't come to play like the Bengals came to play, and that was very apparent. Out of 10 of their total drives, 5 of them were 3 and outs. 1 of them was a pick. 2 of them in which they gained a first down and then punted it anyway. So that's 8 out of their total drives, 8 out of 10. And then they didn't even score until garbage time, 4th quarter, about 5 minutes left. So again, it could have been another game that would have been a blowout of bigger proportions if the other team didn't let up on defense.
I respect it. When it comes to the Lions, I think DC made a good point. I gotta check the film. I'm not in the film room like DC is. But he said that Jared Goff gotta step up a little bit because he has a good O-line. And I got it. Who is his? I don't know whose receivers off the top of my head. Like
they're hurt. They have like Amon St. Brown, who's a rookie, Keflis Keepler. Like they have some ass receivers, but they have TJ Hawkinson, who's like a top 8 tight end. So it's not like he has nobody out there.
I respect it. They said that he needs to step up a little bit. Let's see. So I can't speak too much on the Lions because, like, they'll win eventually. That's just how I look at them boys. Like, it's the National Football League. You got to start winning eventually. But what I can say about this game is that the Bengals is low-key 4-2 right now, and the Browns got to play the Broncos next on Thursday without no Baker Mayfield. So, like, and the Steelers is looking kind of like if TJ Watt doesn't get that strip sack, I don't know what happens against the Seahawks. But like the Bengals is low key 4-2, kid. Like they sneaking up, they playing high energy, great football. They're gaining confidence every week. Every week, do you see these throws that Joe Burrow is making? Like it's just insane right now. Like
you know who they play next week, right?
Who?
The Ravens. Whoever wins that game comes out on top of the division right now.
Well, I could tell you who my pick's gonna be, but the Bengals are looking good right now, and they're kind of making some separation between the rest of the division. So like I don't know, man, it's early, but the Bengals look good, man. And shout out that boy Amani. That boy picked off Joey B. That shit was clean.
Yeah, he did.
Tip drill, know what I'm saying? They say you only get so many of those a game, man. You gotta take advantage of them. He got that thing.
Honestly, I think Jared Goff's not the answer. I would not be surprised if I'd be surprised they draft a 1st-round quarterback. I would not be surprised to see him go after a 2nd round, like Spencer Rattler, who just got like taken out of Oklahoma and a whole bunch of people saying he sucked. I could see him getting drafted in the 5th or 6th round just to sit behind real quick because Goff is expensive and he's not the long-term answer.
Mm-hmm.
Next game that was a blowout, we had the Colts taking care of business at home with against the visiting Houston Texans, 31-3. I mean, these blowouts are hard to really talk about just because like
I couldn't tell you nothing about this game. I was editing while this game. I was editing. I didn't even attempt to go turn that to this, but the red zone clipped onto it a couple of this, but like what the numbers is looking like. But yeah, I didn't watch this game. I didn't do no research on this game, which I'm not gonna lie to you.
I was Jonathan Taylor. He's another power back who's just like other power backs. The longer the season goes on and the longer game goes on, the more explosive he gets because he just wears on the defenses. 14 carries, 145 yards, 2 touchdowns. He really was a problem. Yeah, no, he's a beast. Like when it comes to those, like he's another Nick Chubb, Derrick Henry, just like put the shoulder in him, go through him type of back.
Old school.
the defense is playing better. I mean, even though it is the Texans, they did force 3 turnovers. If they defense keeps this up and this offense is playing the way they're playing with Carson Wentz a little healthier and Jonathan Taylor running through everybody, I really could like they just had to keep the momentum going. That's the one thing. They just had to stack these wins one after the other to get back. Because honestly, if the Titans would have lost this week, they would have been like only a game behind. So like they just have to keep hoping, like just keep clawing, and there's always a shot to stay ready.
Don't forget the Titans is low-key 4-2 though, and like one of the loss was to the Jets. So like I don't know, man. Like Titans is low-key looking like the truth. I don't know if the Colts can catch up with the boys.
Don't see because they still have to play each other, and then those divisional games are always tough. Then we have speaking of divisional games, we had Green Bay taking care of business in Chicago 24-14. Your boy A-Rod, what you gotta say?
Chicago, never heard of it. You talking about Aaronville? You talking about Aaron Chocolate?
Rodgetown?
Yeah, you talking about Rogers City? Like, what are you talking about? Aaron Rodgers owns the keys to the city, obviously. You seen the belt?
Yeah, I didn't know he was in ownership.
Bro, you can do that. What they said, bro, the numbers are crazy. Bro, it's 22-5 against them boys. The only person with more wins is Favre, and then he's never thrown a pick against them. And he had to beat the Bears to go to his first Super Bowl. And it's like, damn. Yeah, he owned in Chicago. He bust their ass. I remember watching that game. Jay Cutler on a motherfucking bicycle and shit. Motherfucking Aaron Rodgers owns Chicago. Like I don't know how the South Side feels about that, but like anywhere around the stadium, like anybody with a Bears jersey on, Aaron Rodgers owns you. Owns where you stand.
Hey, Aaron Rodgers is part owner, part Packer.
Like so look, let's check Aaron Rodgers right now. Aaron Rodgers is an entrepreneur, babe. He owns the Green Bay fan base. He's a part owner of the Milwaukee Bucks. And he owns the entire city of Chicago.
He probably owns Detroit too. I don't know the numbers, but I can't picture him losing to Detroit a lot in his career.
Don't get me wrong. I bet you he owns Detroit, but like I don't know. Detroit looks like that doesn't look like promising.
Yeah, not a good investment.
Yeah, that doesn't look like a great investment. So he passed. Passed. But he got offered. Yeah.
They gave him the CEO position. He's like, hey, bro, this shit's going down. The sink is shipping. I mean, the ship is sinking.
He said, hey, yo, sell the stocks, man. He said, but they gave it to us as a gift. He said, hey, yo, sell.
Spread everything.
But hey, man, shout out Green Bay, man. Justin Fields didn't look great. Like, they just got to build around him. That's what they got to do.
He looks like he fucking stinks.
Hey, you ain't hear that from me. Khalil Herbert, though. Khalil Herbert. Low-key legend. He's nice on the low. Like, my own brother called me. He's telling me that he had, I can't remember who his running backs were, but two of them, one was on a bye and one was hurt. And I was like, why you ain't pick up Khalil Herbert? He goes, oh, man, I seen him on the waiver. I was thinking about it. I was like, you ain't watched the podcast. We was high on Khalil
Herbert. I started him. He took me to a victory.
Yes, sir, man. If you had Khalil Herbert, you did something good this week. Shout out that boy for taking advantage of his opportunities. And they said Bro's still on the COVID list. Who's the running back? Damian Williams or somebody like that?
So David Montgomery is on the IR for like a calf injury, I believe. And Damian Williams for the Bears, he came in. He had a good game too last week. So this is going to be kind of weird on like who gets the starting job, or is it now he's going to be 50-50? Like, I don't know.
Interesting. It's going to be sick. Hey, man, it's crazy though. This is interesting because like if you look at the NFL right now, it's great passing, like passing attack, got to soar through the air, you got to run it up. Analytics say this, all that good stuff, right? But there are a lot of good teams. There are a lot of teams with like 2-3 good running backs. Like their O-line, they just plug in. Like it's getting scary that you can just plug in a running back into a team, plug in a running back into a system, and then like they can continue to thrive and flourish as long as they know the system well. Like that's scary. And and you could literally still leave the running game. Like, that's crazy.
I would say, honestly, I think he's also better for teams because outside of Derrick Henry, all these other 3 down backs out there mostly, they're not lasting. They're getting hurt, like Dalvin Cook, Christian McCaffrey, like multiple seasons where they're not playing the whole season. But when you look at Zeke Elliott, who has Tony Pollard behind him, if you look at Aaron Jones, who has A.J. Dillon behind him, Jonathan Taylor has Naeem Hines, who catch the balls, Antonio Gibson has J.D. McKissick. Like, these are all, like, none of them ever get hurt. And it's for reasons like that. They're not there for every snap. They're there for 80% of the snaps.
That's just interesting. I want to see how the future running backs go, because this is going to be interesting.
But yeah, like I said, I think Justin Fields right now, from what I'm seeing, he stinks. The defense, I will say the defense needs some recognition because they're the only reason why this team has won any games. And they're keeping them in games. I don't think they should really be keeping them in. Like the Browns game, they had 1 total yard of passing, but yet the Browns didn't blow them out by 30. Like, so the defense needs at least a little bit of some recognition, I believe. Khalil Herbert, like you said, hey, is it the running back? Or do they just really have some really good run blockers? Like, I haven't heard anyone talk about, because the Bears line coming into the season fucking stinks. So that's a big thing. Like, I don't think they made much changes to the line. Or is it the play calling? Like all these running backs are really eating in this Bear system right now. Or is it maybe because Justin Fields required so much of the RPO look? But yeah, my last note I had in big bold letters: Aaron Rodgers owned the Bears.
Chicago.
Yeah, he owns Chicago itself.
The Bears is on. That's an entire species. Like, that's a whole species. Like, that's a lot. That's a lot of Bears you gotta go holler at. You gotta go holler at a lot of Bears to go make.
Yeah, nah, you're right.
Rodgers, all he has to do is just pull up and do the belt, because they already know. They're like, oh fuck, Aaron Rodgers is in town.
Hey, bro, Aaron Rodgers loud on O Block from Word on the Street. Word on the Street, Aaron Rodgers loud on O Block.
They be like, shit, hey, that's AR-12, kid. Hey, chill.
Hide your chain, AR-12 is here, everybody. But the next game, this game was fun. One of our home dogs that didn't hit, Minnesota beating Carolina in OT 34-28. It was so close in our hands. Like, it was there. I mean, when they got that punt block touchdown, I thought we were golden. I was like, that's the type of plays that happens for, like, underdogs to win. Like, for shit like this to happen.
What the fuck? Bruh, the Kirk Cousins torched this defense inside out, left to right, up, down, side, backwards. Like, he fucked them boys up. Like, they ate free all day. Thielen snapped, put that thing on them things. And, like, he put that thing on them things and put the key in the drip, and they got to moving on a thing. Like, for real. Like, this I was talking shit because I was like, the Vikings, they just know for not scoring games that they should be scoring a lot in. So, you know what the fuck they did? They scored 34 fucking points. But here's the thing about the Vikings that are fucking me up. They played 6 games. 5 of them shits have been decided on the last play. And the boys is 3-3. So it's like, what is your record? Is your record the truth? What are the fucking Minnesota Vikings like? How are y'all gonna look later in the season? Because obviously you got the Lions and the Bears in your division. So, like, you don't gotta worry about, like, not being being crazy low in your division. So, like, is this a playoff team, or is this a team that's gonna continuously fizzle out? Because this is 2 weeks in a row that they blew a double-digit lead. I actually didn't notice that. I was watching CBS Sports and the boys said that shit, and I was like, damn. Now that I think about it, they was up 10 on the Lions and lost and won by a field goal.
No, like you said, this is 5 games now where the last play decides it. And you said they're 3-3. That sounds about right. If you're a last play type of team, it's 50-50, you win or lose. So 3-3 sounds about right to me. Honestly, like, hey, the Carolina, Minnesota played way better offensively and defensively. They just, that punt block score sometimes, those little scores that kill you. And Panthers offensively look so bad after the hot start from Darnold this season. The first play of the game, he threw an interception. And that should have let me know. Like, in that moment when that happened, I was like, fuck, I picked the Panthers. Like, I was just like, God. Kirk Cousins, I mean, the second half, he looked phenomenal. He looked like what you said, up, down, left to right. First half, they were slow. I think he only had like 100 or so yards in the first half. They got like 350 of all their total yardage in the second half, which is crazy because second half, they've been asked this season. So they looking good there. But he's 5 throws, he looks like an elite quarterback worth $100 million. 5 throws, he looks like, why are we paying this motherfucker $100 million? And if I just feel like if the Vikings want to do anything further or get better, he has to clean up his act, because like Dalvin Cook did his thing, 140 yards, touchdown, a few catches. So I just think he needs to clean up his throws, get a little bit more on the accurate, because Justin Jefferson's beating his people on the one-on-ones. I think he had 13 targets, only 8 catches. A few of them were overthrown. A few of them were just bad throws. But but back to my original point, Sam Darnold looked fucking. If I think Justin Fields looked like he stunk this week, Sam Darnold looked atrocious this week. I mean, 17 of 41,
yeah.
Like 41% completion percentage, bro. Like, DJ Moore only had like 13 targets, only had like 4 catches. Like, what the fuck is going on over there?
Here's my thing about Sammy Willie. So, like, this is what he's playing like we thought he was gonna play. Right. This is how. Well, we said I don't know why the Panthers got this. I don't know why the Panthers got Sam Darnold from the Jets. Like, it's embarrassing. So, but then he he balled a little bit. We thought, oh, maybe it's the real fuck Adam Gates tour. But here's the thing, though. Christian McCaffrey got hurt. These are facts.
They get hurt.
But the thing is that what we didn't know was how one-dimensional the Panthers were. Like, okay, the Panthers defense was balling, but like once you moved a couple of things around, their defense stopped balling a little bit once the competition got on a little bit better, so they could throw a couple more looks at you. But they're just a team that can be schemed against so well, because you can take DJ Moore, because they saw, oh, DJ Moore is eating. Let's get DJ Moore out of the game. Who you go to now? Christian McCaffrey ain't there. And brother's coming off the bench for Christian McCaffrey it's not off the bench in football. Brother's starting behind Christian McCaffrey.
Hubbard.
Yeah, he's not bad. He's just not Christian
Rookie.
McCaffrey. And we knew Christian McCaffrey was gonna have a huge workload. So like, with him not there, that workload is just in the air right now, because they don't have anybody that can even cover it, like, slightly. So like, Sam Darnold, he's taking lumps. I think the NFC is lucky this year because the Saints aren't doing well, and the Panthers probably aren't going to get it figured out. So they don't have to deal with the NFC South. They could just let the Bucs take their number 1 seed and keep it moving. Like, but I don't see anything coming for the Panthers, dog. I think this is
I like not the Panthers, but I like Sam Darnold coming into the situation just because of I think DJ Moore is a great player, but they also have Robbie Anderson, who's just coming off his first 1,000-yard season, who had his best season last year. So it's not like they don't have anyone after DJ Moore, and he's supposed to be their vertical threat, I think he only has like 10 catches all season. Darnold's not giving him the ball. And I heard a joke online saying that the reason Darnold's not throwing Robbie Anderson the ball is because it reminds him of when they played on the Jets together. And that might make sense to me. That's the only thing that's logical, because like, why else are you not giving your second best receiver on the team a look? Especially when DJ Moore is getting, like you said, schemed out of the game. Like when they are throwing him the ball, it's double team. That's why he's only catching 4 passes on 13 targets. Like it's not there.
That's tough. But hey, man, we'll see what them boys can figure it out. But hey, I don't really like the Panthers for. I ain't got no beef with them boys. I just don't really like the niggas, the individuals, because that's division. That's division play right there.
It's born in your blood.
We'll see. We'll see when it comes to division play. They got like 5 division games left, so we'll see what them boys can do with the season coming.
The next game. I missed the blowout. We had the Rams 38 at New York 11. I said it before the game. Oh, what if Danny Dimes is actually might look like he's playing with a concussion? And he looked like he was playing with a concussion out there. That man looked terrible. I think they would have had a better shot if Glennon was in for that game.
Hey, you said enough. Like the score was all I needed to write down in my notes. Oh no, I'm capping. The first quarter was close. The first quarter was a lot closer than I expected. But besides for that, nah.
3-0.
Yeah, this first quarter was a lot closer. But once Stafford got everything rolling in the second quarter, that shit was over.
Yeah, Giants was winning 3-0 to end the first, and then at halftime it's 28-3.
They just had too much time. They had too much time on the clock.
Danny Dimes is currently back at Danny Nichols to further notice on my book. He throws 3 picks and he has 2 fumbles. That's 5 turnovers, man. That's just not good football.
Concussion, man. Check his head.
Next game, kind of a blowout. I think it was a little closer until the fourth quarter. Kansas City 31, Washington 13 at Washington.
They were losing this game.
Yeah, no, they played ugly football.
They were losing this game. I turned in because I was like, oh, I'm gonna watch the Chiefs come back on the Redskins. I mean the football team. But they didn't do it nicely. 31-13 looks bad, but 13 was the score that they picked up to take the lead. So it was the Chiefs have been playing real sloppy, a little choppy, kind of crappy. I don't know, Tyreek Hill dropping the ball, not dropping the ball, but it's slipping through his hands, and that's getting picked off, man. That's 2 games in a row. That's you got your quarterback looking a little crazy right now. I don't know, man. The Chiefs are gonna forever be the Chiefs, but what does that mean around the rest of the league?
I mean, you hit that one almost nail on the head for me. It looks like you almost read my notes. Chiefs didn't look great. Mahomes is playing as if he can't do no wrong, but he can do wrong, and it's shooting himself in the foot, shooting the team in the foot. More importantly, that one interception he had, he saw that. I think I don't know if it was the first or the second one he threw, but he was getting sacked, and before he gets sacked, with the palm of his hand, he just threw the ball. He tried to throw it away across the line of scrimmage, but normally you just take the sack. It's 3 yards. You're in the red zone. But once he did that, the defensive end, whoever was there, got the easy interception. That's at least 3 points taken off the board because of that right there. So I mean, if this was a good team, they would have lost this week. If this wasn't Washington, if this was a good team, this would have been an L. And I think this is very telling of Washington because of that defense. And for how bad their defense is, they have to play mistake-free football, which I'm not sure the Chiefs can do. The only other thing I have is Washington D had 10 QB hits, 4 sacks, 3 takeaways, 2 interceptions, and a fumble. Yet Heineke looked lost without Logan Thomas. Scary Terry only had 4 catches, 28 yards. So if Heineke could have done at least a little bit of something more on offense, this game could have been another loss on their record. On next game, which we both was on the wrong side of this one, we have Arizona 37, Cleveland 14. I just want to know where the fuck was the wind at? Because that was hyped up to me as 30-mile-per-hour winds, and that shit did not seem to faze anybody.
Bro, fuck the Browns. What the fuck? I understand Nick Chubb is hurt. That's a supreme impact to the offense. I understand that the Cardinals are the dead ass truth. And I understand that I wasn't even sure about this pick when I made it because I was just thinking like the way that the law of averages goes, eventually the Cardinals will slow down. And this might have been the week for them to do that because of how chippy that game before was. But nope. No. Kyler Murray's still looking like an MVP candidate. 37 points. Them boys went fucking dummy. D-Hop doing whatever D-Hop fucking does. Like this Cardinals team is great. They're holding the defense is holding up. There's nobody's calling their defense great, legendary, but they got players. And they got players on defense and they got so many playmakers on offense. You got what? How the hell? See, look, they made the best point ever on CBS today. They said, how the hell do you have a team with D-Hop, AJ Green, and Zach Ertz all off of trades? What is this, the NBA? They don't have it. Like, all off of trades. You picked up JJ Watt in the offseason. Like, what? Y'all are insane. Like, that's just... There's some executives that really know what they're doing over there. They built a championship caliber team in less than 2 years off of a quarterback that could have went to go play baseball. So shout out the entire city of Arizona as a franchise. Anything that they know about football, they drinking something good in the water over there. Like they know something.
And the basketball team, the Suns.
They got some executives over there. They know what they're doing out there. There's a lot of winning going on in AZ right now. And shout out them boys. They got to keep doing what they're doing.
I got to stop fading the Cardinals. That's one of my lessons I've learned.
You started that from day one, and you're going to pay for it.
Kyler's shoulder, it looked good. It didn't look bothered at all.
Better than Baker's.
Yeah, that should have been worried more about Baker's shoulder. That's another thing I had. The Browns, you talked a lot about the Cardinals' offense and how they can't be stopped. I'm going to highlight the defense. The second drive of the game for the Browns, it's a 4th and 3, and Baker does the one thing you can't do. He gets sacked. It allows the Cardinals to come down, go make an easy score. Now they're up 14-0. The next drive, Baker gets strip sacked. Now it's the Cardinals come down and score a field goal, 17-0. Next trip, he throws an interception. Now it's 20-0. And these are all within like 4 plays of each other. Like these are not long drives by any means. These are all like sack, comes right back on the field, gets strip sack, comes back on the field, throws a completion, then throws a interception. So now it's 20-0 in the middle of the second quarter. If you're a running team, what the fuck are you supposed to do against that? If you're a run-based team down 20-0,
with 2 injured running backs.
Yeah, what's your game plan at that point? So they come out of half. Very first drive, Baker gets sacked twice. They punt it. The Cardinals defense was really just running through that offensive line. The Browns D forces 2 punts. Now it's 14-23. So now the game's still right back into, you're only 9 points away. You're not really that way. Still third quarter. The game is right there. Baker again gets sacked and stripped, fumble. Now the Cardinals come down and score. It's 30-14. Now the game is looking out of hand. And like that was I don't think Baker's good. Like I know his shoulder's hurt, but like how many times did I just say he gets sacked? Like within like on like key crucial, like you're losing by a lot. These are crucial plays at this point. You can't like throw it away, do something, throw it up. I don't know. Like he does not look like the guy. If you're a running team and your QB is the one that's killing you, you have to get rid of him. That's the other thing I have on the Browns right now.
See, this was bye week for me, so it's been a real reflective week. So I've been spending a lot of just looking at a lot of stuff that's happening this week versus what happened week 1 and 2, and thinking, wow, that kind of made a little more sense than it did. The Chiefs beating the motherfucking Browns, coming back and beating the Browns like they did, and the Chiefs being so sloppy since then. I've just been looking like maybe the Browns not only weren't the truth, maybe the people that just had nothing else better to do. So they just said, let's call the Browns the Super Bowl contenders because they have the best team on paper. Like, let's not forget about the mentality that comes into winning championships and the focus that comes in late game preparation and late games that has to go into making those extra plays to be a champion. So like the Browns are a great team and they've got some injuries and stuff like that, but the chemistry isn't all the way there. It feels like they got their defense, their players and stuff like that, but like people just do things to them that they're not supposed to do. Like Justin Herbert, Kyler Murray now, like I don't know about the Browns. It's not that I don't know about the Browns. I never was a big believer in the Browns, but it's just like they're not gonna be able to keep up with good teams, and like they're tied third in the division right now, and like it's not looking good for them boys.
Nah, and could you just imagine, like, because Baker's on his contract year, I believe, or is it so? Yes. They took him to the playoffs, like 0-16 seasons were like just a couple years ago. It's not far away. Like, so
the other day.
So if he gets a contract and it's a long-term contract, like I just don't see the Browns really, like maybe I'm wrong and I'll bite the bullet, but I just can't see unless they have a better team around him, which this team already around him is phenomenal. But like, could you imagine if instead of like if they would have just because he's the first overall pick, so they're kind of stuck with him because he's doing okay to good. And what if they would have traded him for Matt Stafford and like a first round pick, like do what the Rams did with Goff? Like, could you have imagined like a Stafford with the Browns type team, Odell, Joku, Landry, the running game that they have to offer? Like, it's a similar situation to like the Rams, like. Do you really trust this quarterback to take you to the promised land? I don't. Go get a guy who will.
It's interesting. They're gonna trade for Matt Ryan. Nah.
Maybe 5 years ago. The next game on the slate, we have. I'm gonna say the next one from best. We have the Broncos at the Raiders. Bronco County once again burns me. I mean, I try to believe in them. That defense is what sells me so much. But when you're giving up 30 points and Derek Carr has 340 yards with only 18 completed passes, that's a problem.
This is one of those picks. I said, "Yo, I'm not gonna do too much thinking." The world is gonna let you know that, like, come on, dog. They're going through it. All that off the field bullshit. They already weren't looking great coming into this game. The Broncos just played their ass off and still lost to the Steelers, so they kind of want revenge. Like, I didn't even want to hear you tell me what I've already been telling myself all day. So last episode I came in that bitch and I was just like, hey yo, I already know what you're about to say. The Broncos this, they're gonna do this, Derek Carr that. So hey yo, you're right. Now let's figure out what else we could talk about this game. Like, but the Broncos still boof, like the Raiders fucked them boys up. So shout out the Raiders. Shout out I don't remember his name because it was hard to say, but shout out his first NFL game, got the dub. Shout out Derek Carr looking good, staying composed. He literally told them boys, hey man, it's the same offense. I'm the same person, the offensive coordinator, shit don't change. But the Broncos is looking suspect. I mean, suspect, kid. I mean, we didn't think they was a 10-win team. You said they was a 10-win team. They played some teams that probably aren't going to get 10. They played some non-10-win teams, got up 3-0 on them 10-win teams. But now it's good. The worst in their division if you think about it.
No, they probably you're not completely wrong. I mean, Teddy B needs to wake the fuck up.
Easy.
Yeah, like the game wasn't even as close as what it looks. It was really 31-10 at the end of the third. And then Teddy B has 3 picks on paper, but 2 of them were in the last 5-7 minutes of the game where he's throwing some deep heaves on his drives. So those two of those picks really shouldn't really be there, but they are there just because game script. But this offense for the Broncos, they need positive yards on first down. That's what I'm looking just to set up the playbook. Because he's 3rd and 10s and he's 3rd and 9s, it doesn't help him because they're a dink and dunk, run the ball type of team. It looks like Teddy B is going to make the smart read, get you 4 yards. So you got to have positive yards first down. Otherwise, you're getting kind of stuck in the playbook of what you can call in 2nd and 3rd down. But the Raiders' defense is the key because their defense was so bad last year. It's kind of like the Cowboys. Like their defense was so bad last year, but all of a sudden this year they turned it around. This defense, 17 QB hits. That's insane. 5 sacks. So it isn't all on Teddy B. I mean, his offensive line wasn't really there. It looked like. I mean, you're allowing 17 QB hits. That's just fucking nuts. Like they got through, and they got through plenty of times. But the Raiders' deep ball has been their biggest weapon, and it's an A+ across the board. I feel like every week they're getting at least a 1 or 2 or 3. If they're not catching it, pass interference. Like they're getting that look.
I've been telling you, bro, I love the Raiders receivers, man. Henry Ruggs, Hunter Renfrow, Darren Waller, like
Brian Edwards, the rookie.
They got some players over. They literally made up a route. Like they got something special over there in Oakland. It's like, what's up with like how can they gel it all the way there? It's close.
The next
I gotta say this before we go off to the next one real quick, is that like I heard a stat earlier that before they picked up John Gruden, the Raiders were 12-4. And then you've seen them with John Gruden. Yeah. So with this new coach, let's see what the issues was, and let's see if them boys can really gel and mesh and be a good team for the next 2-3 years. Because like, I like them boys. I want to start buying some Raider gear again. Like, I want to start buying some Raider gear. The boys need to turn up, man.
Yeah, I've never had beef with the Raiders. I like them. Even especially as a Jet, their fans had the spiky shoulders and shit. Like they were hard. Like that was a fan base that I used to rock for just because I would like when they cut it to the fans and then mean motherfuckers with the spiked shoulders, the helmets.
And they was just known for like just thugging football, like just because they had the NWA back behind them. So like
Al Davis was beefing with the commissioner.
I'm telling you, like I remember, and anytime I remember everybody good used to play for the Raiders at one point in my mind, like Jerry Rice, Randy Moss, and all that. Oh, that's all I needed to know because I was a receivers Jet as a Jet. So I was like, all you got to do is get old and go play for the Raiders. Okay, cool.
The best game of the week, in my opinion, the overtime thriller, Cowboys at Foxborough to play the Patriots. Do you want to take this first? I know these were your boys, or do you want me to say something real quick?
I got it. I'm gonna start some shit off right because I'm sad because these are my dogs playing. Like I don't like either of these teams, but these are my homies when they play against each other. I like these matchups. But I fell asleep.
Oh.
I was tired. I was watching football since 9 o'clock. I had to watch the Dolphins and the Jags. Like, I was up since 4 the day before. I got that halftime show came on, and that cat put me to sleep, kid.
And do that to you.
I woke up hurt. My brother called me. He said, "Hey, yo, you seen what happened?" I was like, "What you mean?" He goes, "Bruh, we almost beat him in overtime." I said, "You did what?" Man.
They almost did it to him.
I watched the Cardinals beat the shit out the Browns. I watched the Jaguars I watched all my picks get fucked up, but I couldn't watch the Steelers do what they had to do, man. But no, it's loud in Pittsburgh. It's tough, especially you can't win in overtime. Shout out TJ Watt, strip sack, OT. That boy is the motherfucking truth. Like, there's nothing you can do about that. And if you don't believe me, the individuals actually brought up the stat saying, bro has 24 fumbles since 2017. Bro, imagine this. Like, you don't have 20 fingers. Like, there's a reason for that because that's a large number. That's a very high number to be able to give me that 20 times since 2017. Name something you've done 20 times since 2017. See, you can't because it's not that easy to do something so that much. Like, this man is the truth. This man, TJ Watt, deserves every dime he got paid, and them boys is balling. But I want to hear what the fuck happened on offense, because in my notes it says that Big Ben went 29 for 40. Motherfucking Gino went, 23 for 32, but them boys ain't had no yards like that. And one touchdown with a fumble. Like, I don't understand what the fuck happened on offense.
I mean, honestly, it was all their offense for the Steelers came in the first half. It was like 14-0 halftime. I started making some food. I come back to the game in third quarter, 14-17. Steelers up by 3. Like, the Seahawks only had 55 yards in the first half. The second half is when they did everything else. But I honestly, it was a lot of Najee Harris, just like usual. Chase Claypool didn't do shit really. Deontay Johnson ate. Big Ben, every time he makes a good throw, it's usually Deontay Johnson, I swear. Like a good little 30-yarder. It's a Deontay. But Najee Harris ran, I want to say he had over 100 scrimmage yards. My big thing is, man, Pete Carroll is really a motivator of men, because he went into that locker room at halftime with a 55-yard offense, and he turned them boys around to bring him into within 3 in the middle of before third quarter was even over. Alex Collins had like 100 yards rushing for the Steelers for the Seahawks. So like they ran it down their throat. I wanted to say Jamal Adams, who I will say is probably one of the worst covered safeties in the league. He had a near game-changing interception that smacked right off the face of his helmet. Like it was almost thrown directly to Jamal Adams, and it went straight to his helmet, right to the ground.
J.A.
And then DK, in the final moments of regulation, tries to get an extra 3-4 yards. Instead of just making a smart play of running out of bounds, stopping the clock, maybe even get an extra play up. Who knows? Because if you would have saved an extra couple seconds. It almost costed them the game. Luckily, the Seahawks somehow get that second back on that clock, and they kick the field goal, going to OT. Didn't matter. TJ Watt did his thing. Like, it wasn't even like the offense, but after the strip sack, they still tried 3 plays, go like -1 yard. And then they're like, all right, let's just kick the field goal, win the game. Like, that's how that bad of the Steelers offense is.
That shit was wild, man. That shit was wild, man. But hey, shout out them boys, man. Shout out the Steelers, man. You can't. That's a bit hard team to beat at home. Hey, man, but Big Ben, he not moving. He can't move. He ain't mobile.
No, he's done.
He's in a landline. That boy, he's in a landline. He ain't mobile.
No, bro. Landline, payphone. That man is dead in the water, bro. It is bad. Like when Geno Smith is looking like the better quarterback of the day, and yet he has worse numbers than you. That's when you know you're doing bad. Because it's all run after catch. It's all a little short pass, and then the receiver makes a good little extra 7 yards on the run. I mean, like if Jamal Adams would have caught that interceptions, I think the Seahawks may have won that game. And then we would have been sitting here talking about how they would have been talking about how shot Big Ben is, and not talking about how they beat the Seahawks.
Damn, I don't know. It's still hard to beat. I think Pittsburgh, you got to get that home field, because that's a tough. I feel like that's
that is tough. No, that is tough, but they're not good.
They're going last, kid. They're going last because the Browns Nick Chubb's not going to let the Browns go last. So somebody has to go last.
Yeah, I see them going last. Did you want me to hit on the Cowboys real quick before we jump into Thursday?
What is that a question? That shit was lit.
I mean, Cowboys offense, once again, I'm coming here to say they looked unstoppable, except for the goal line QB sneak, which turned into a turnover. But honestly, I think Dak Prescott, the first QB sneak they did, I think he got in the end zone. They didn't challenge it. Mike McCarthy doesn't want to challenge it. They just run another play. Then they fumble it. And other than that, and in the early they go for it on 4th down early in the first quarter, and they get stopped on like the 30 of their own 40. Other than that, their offense was unstoppable. Patriots had a scheme, though. I will say they had a scheme and they ran with it. the Cowboys, who have a good run defense, but Damian Harris didn't give a fuck. He ran through him. He had like over 90 yards, a touchdown. He was looking good. But Mac Jones just looked like he couldn't miss a receiver. That was like he was on another, like he was like 16 for 16 at one point. Like he just looked like, honestly, it's like, I don't want to say it, but like a young Brady, just like a system quarterback who thrives in the system. Like, oh, that's what you need me to do? I got it.
He's gonna be the coldest. They just gotta build a stronger system, not a better system. They just gotta just tweak it because like it's a little outdated.
Yeah, and I think they're gonna give him more leeway as the season progresses, onto like what he's comfortable with, like the deeper throws and stuff like that. Because one of the commentators made a good point, like, oh, everyone's coming at Mac Jones because he has like the second or third lowest pass yards, air, whatever. He only throws like 5.5 air yards per throw, which is really low.
That's literally offense.
But they're saying that was the same complaint everyone had about Brady. They were saying, oh, Brady never throws the ball deep. Like, so, like, if that's the only thing, like, that means he's doing what he's supposed to be doing in the system.
Go get Mac Jones, Randy Moss in his 5th year, and I promise you that he might be able to make something shake.
Yeah. But his poise after he threw that pick 6 to Tavon Diggs, who's just a fucking animal.
Dog, can you mind if I speak that? This the only thing.
You can spit it.
Oh my God, Trayvon! Oh man, dog, that shit was bad. And because it was just so funny because like I was on the phone, I just finished editing, I posted a picture, I'm talking shit with my brother. I'm like, bro, fuck the NFL. They don't never give us no breaks. Why? How the hell you gonna have us up at 9 o'clock watching football? And you can't even give us like an hour between 4 o'clock and 8 o'clock. All I want is a little hour. Let me maybe eat some food real quick, send a couple text messages, take a shower or something. Nah, we straight to the bullshit. But I look down, I see this man Trayvon Diggs get the pick. I'm talking shit. Oh, he break it. Oh, that's another pick in every game. That boy really a receiver, man. Fuck what you heard. And if you look at the stats, man, he got more touchdowns and receptions than Robbie Anderson and them boys over there. So literally the fact that 2 things, right? So the fact that Mac Jones threw that late interception, it could be heartbreaking, and got back up the next play and threw it to this man again. Got the touchdown, shows poise, it shows respect. He's earned, like, yo, I'm on Team Mac. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not a big Bill fan, but like Mac Jones is definitely the best quarterback out of all the youngies. So like I'm rocking with the Patriots. The Patriots did their thing. Like this game wasn't supposed to go in overtime. Probably wasn't supposed to be close, but they just kept fighting. They kept battling. They saw the points. Bill's still a schemer. Like defense, he's been getting a little schemed on, but he's still a legendary schemer. He's doing what he got to do. But yeah, shout out the Patriots for doing what they did, man.
You know, but to be honest, even when New England was leading, I didn't feel too scared. Just because the way the Cowboys, like if you look at the total yardage all the way throughout the game, they had like 400 total yards at one, like 450 to Patriots like 210 at one point, and then 500 Patriots 260, and it was all just because they like go for it and got stopped, and then the fumble on that goal line. But so every time they had the ball, they was moving. And the Cowboys 5-1.
No. We're not worried about the Cowboys. They got their division.
The Patriots, they're 1-5.
What?
Yeah, just like us. I believe they're 1-5. Yes.
And they lost to. Oh, that's crazy. The boys at the bottom.
Yeah. 4 straight losses at home too. So that's a.
0-4 at the crib.
Yep.
Really?
We started that trend.
Really 0-4 at the crib? That's crazy.
But this Cowboys team, I will say their mental fortitude this season, like this team mentally a lot stronger, because this is a game they're supposed to lose. If this was a Cowboys team from the past and this is a scrappy game like this and they're losing, like this is a game where they typically lose the game. And you're talking about, damn, the Cowboys were supposed to win and they lost to the Patriots.
Bro, watching an episode of Skip and Shannon this entire season because I know he's cutting up. I know he's talking his shit every day.
Time. Even Shannon's coming around to him. Even Shannon's coming around to the Cowboys. He's Yeah, because he can't. You can't deny it. Like when you're just like, damn, this team on like offensively is a fucking problem right now. Because Kellen Moore will have a head coach job next year. He is calling the best plays by far. Like Jason Garrett was such a bad play caller. To watch now Kellen Moore be the play caller is so much better. But Mike McCarthy is still probably one of the worst coaches in the NFL. This is his third game that he has his only because he's not a play caller. Even though when Jerry Jones hired him, he said that he watched every play on film of the Cowboys, and he has a system that will get him to the promised land. Jerry Jones loved it, brought him on. He came on, and he was like, oh, well, I'm going to let Kellen Moore call the plays. I ain't going to call no plays. Defensively, I'm going to let the defensive coordinator do what he does. So then what the fuck are you doing, Mike McCarthy? He's not really doing – the only thing he's in charge of is, like, the timeouts. So, like, this is the third game in which he fucks up the timeouts. Like, why do you call a timeout to kick the field goal to go – so you're to tie up the game. Instead of calling the timeout at 5 seconds like everyone else would do and to go to kick the field goal, go OT, he calls it at like 25 seconds. So now the Patriots get the ball back with like 19 seconds left. Even Bill Belichick is putting his head down, like shaking his head, like, bro, is this guy an idiot? Like, why would you like? And then a couple weeks prior, before halftime, it's like a third down. They don't call a timeout. Like they're on defense and it's like a third and long. They don't call a timeout with only a minute left. They let it go all the way down to 30 seconds, allow them to run a play, then get the ball back with 20 seconds. Like he's just a bad coach, and it's like Kellen Moore is really what's helping that team out right now. But I mean, I think that wraps us up for the the Sunday through Monday games right there for week 6. On to what I think is going to be a heater of a Thursday night game. We have the Broncos going to Cleveland to play the Browns. Both 3-3 teams.
Hey, catch me on Sunday, man.
You sleeping on this one?
Catch me on Sunday, man.
See, you're sleeping just because, man, every primetime game has been a heater. So I'm not sleeping on no primetime games right now.
Case Keenum?
I think Baker's playing.
Nope, Case Keenum.
Oh, Case Keenum. Oh, then I'm definitely rocking with the Broncos. That was my pick even with Baker in.
Damn, I shouldn't have said nothing. I should have been green. Case Keenum, once I seen that, I was like, no Nick Chubb, no Kareem Hunt. Case Keenum? And it's in Cleveland?
Yes, at Cleveland.
Oh,
no. Baker Mayfield expects to play on Thursday night. That's what it says.
Oh, no.
I just looked it up.
I'm sleeping with one eye open.
So it is going to be Baker Mayfield and the Browns versus the Broncos.
I'm sleeping with one eye open, man. I don't know. I'm going to have to take.
The Broncos are the underdog here. They got the Browns favored.
And it's in Cleveland?
Yeah, it's in Cleveland.
I'm going to take the Bees on this one. Even though they done lost 2 in a row, I'm going to take.
Which Bees? The Broncos or the Browns?
Hold on. Even though they lost 2, I don't know. I don't think Baker's playing, man. So I'm taking the Broncos, man.
I just Googled it. It's saying Baker is expected to play through the pain. These are all 3 of the top headlines.
I'm going with the Broncos, man. I'm not watching the game. I'm going to be asleep. I'm going to be watching the game, really, but I'm going to be really sleeping. Like, I'm going to be watching the game so I don't have to do a bunch of notes after the game. But, like, I'm going to be sleeping. I'm going to be texting.
There's no Kareem Hunt and no Nick Chubb. So it's going to be Dearness Johnson, the third back, as the starter.
What their defense looking like? They got any injuries on defense?
The only one who's banged up that I know of is Denzel Ward. I'm not sure if he's playing or not, but Myles Garrett, the defensive line is still there. Oh, their linebacker is out. Their Lorky linebacker. Other than that, the defense is about the same.
We'll see. I guess this should be a promising game. Prime times happen some heaters, but like I'm sleeping on this one, man. I'm sleeping on it.
offensively, the Browns are still the number one rushing team, even after that last week performance. Whereas the Broncos are only allowing the fourth least amount of rushing yards. So that's what I'm looking at. And I think the Browns are banged up. I think Dearness Johnson might have a good game, but it's hard because this is a back-to-back road game for the Broncos. So typically teams don't fare well.
That's what they do. My question is, are the Browns really going to lose 3 in a row?
I got to see it. I'm taking the Broncos. Like I said, I was taking Broncos with or without Baker.
I'm taking the Broncos, but I want to see, the Browns, are y'all really going to sit here and lose 3 in a row? I understand it's still not too late in the season. That's not going to kill you, but, like, that's not good, man. That's not good at all.
Yeah, no, I'm taking the Broncos just because I think that Rush D is their best asset. And Von Miller himself came out and said, like, I don't know who's the left tackle, but I'm going to fucking murder him. Like, those are his exact quotes. So if he's coming with that energy, it has to be contagious. Like, no other man on defense is going to allow another player to out-hype him. So it's gonna be contagious. I think they're gonna stuff the run game, even though the Browns are the best running game right now in the NFL. I just think, not stuffed. Dearness Johnson's still probably gonna get like 70, 80 yards, and whoever backing him up so I can get 30 or 40. But they're not gonna put up 170 yards, which is what they're averaging right now as a team. I think and if you're putting it all on Baker, who I am very anti-Baker Mayfield. What a hurt shoulder. The DBs on the Broncos are good. Patrick Surtain, Kyle Fuller. Like, they're not no jokes or slouches either. So they're going to bounce back here. I think it is a bounce back. Short week for them.
I don't like it. Hey, I do want to say this, though. This is, like, crazy off topic. But, like, I was watching no, I'll save it.
Yeah. So I'm rocking Broncos, and you're rocking Broncos too?
I got Broncos on this guy. You know I don't be wrong about Thursday nights.
All right. So hopefully we're moving on to week 7-0 if the Broncos can take care of business. And I've been burned every time I pick the Broncos. So
hey Paul, break it down for him, man. I'm taking a sleep on this one, man. I'm not missing no games this week. I'm coming 5-hour energy, coffee, macchiato, whatever I need. I'm watching every motherfucking game.
All right. Well, y'all know what it is. This was Paul Pickle Wyndham Concha. We're always coming with the hot takes. We're always coming with the correct picks. We're going to let you know how it is before it is. How you doing? Keep it moving. This was Paul Pickle Wyndham Concha.
And your boy, Kev Waterboy, motherfucking Savoy, boy.
And this was Totally Blitz Podcast.
Yeah.
Problem with being problematic. Get the light beam on me, ready for electrostatic. Don't you step into this box if you're not batting. Cause my gang got tools. You can call them boy crap, man. This gang got rules, man. You better watch your passes. This ain't nothing.